Detective Laura Hensley had seen her share of crime scenes, but nothing quite like the silent house on Birchwood Lane. The call had come at 2:17 a.m. A neighbor reported that the lights of the Whitmore residence had been flickering for hours. Though no one seemed to be inside, Laura arrived with her partner, Detective Ramos, expecting perhaps a faulty electrical system or another domestic disturbance. Instead, they found the front door slightly ajar, a faint metallic smell wafting through the cool night air. Inside, the scene was unnervingly neat. The living room was arranged with meticulous order, books aligned on the shelf, cushions perfectly squared, a porcelain vase in the corner that looked untouched. Yet the silence was suffocating. No hum of appliances, no ticking clock, no sound at all, except their own footsteps. Then Laura saw it, a trail of muddy shoe prints, faint but deliberate, leading down the hallway toward the basement door. The detectives descended into the dim basement. At the bottom of the stairs, a single chair stood in the center of the room. On it lay a recorder, its red light blinking. Laura pressed play. A man's voice, calm and deliberate, filled the air. "If you are hearing this, then you have stepped into my puzzle. The house is clean, the family is gone. You won't find them. You may look for weeks, but you won't. This is not about them. It's about you, Detective Hensley." Laura's blood ran cold. The voice knew her name. Ramos scanned the corners with his flashlight, but there was no sign of struggle, no blood, no bodies. Just the chair, the recorder, and the eerie message. Back upstairs, Laura searched the kitchen. A single envelope sat on the counter. Inside was a photograph of the Whitmore family: Robert, his wife Evelyn, and their teenage son, Chris, all smiling, as if frozen in time. On the back of the photo was a handwritten note. 3 faces, 3 riddles. Find the truth before the 4th disappears. That night launched one of the most intricate investigations in Laura's career. The Whitmores had no history of enemies, debts, or criminal ties. Neighbors described them as ordinary, though a few mentioned Robert often worked late nights in his home office, door locked. Evelyn volunteered at the library. Chris was quiet, sometimes bullied at school. Nothing screamed danger. Yet as the detectives dug deeper, Laura felt the case was less about the family and more about her. The man on the tape had spoken her name with unsettling familiarity. 2 days later, a package arrived at the precinct addressed to Laura. Inside was a chess piece, the queen, painted red. Alongside it was another note. "She moves in every direction, but never sees the trap until it closes." Ramos was convinced it was the work of a serial kidnapper, or a psychopath with a flair for theatrics. But Laura couldn't shake the feeling that this was personal. Years ago, during her first year as a detective, she had investigated a string of home invasions. The suspect, a man named Marcus Hale, had vanished before trial. He was brilliant, manipulative, and obsessed with puzzles. Could he have returned? A week passed without ransom demands. No bodies turned up. Then came the second riddle, emailed directly to her phone. "In the place of silence, where knowledge sleeps, lies the second answer." Laura thought instantly of the library where Evelyn volunteered. When they searched it, hidden between the shelves of philosophy books, they found another chess piece. The knight, this one painted black. A folded piece of paper was taped beneath it. 2 pieces placed. 1 remains. The board is almost set. The pressure mounted. The department grew restless. The media called it the Birchwood mystery. For Laura, sleep became impossible. Then, late one night, she received a final message. A video file. It showed Chris, the Whitmore's son, sitting in a dark room. He was alive but pale, his hands bound. A masked figure stood behind him. "Detective Hensley," the distorted voice said, "the boy is the last piece. You want him, you'll come alone." Midnight, the old train yard. Against protocol, Laura went. She couldn't risk waiting. At midnight, under the rusted iron beams of the abandoned yard, she found the boy tied to a chair. The masked man stood a few feet away, holding a knife loosely at his side. "Marcus Hale," she said. The man removed the mask, revealing the same sharp eyes she remembered from the case years ago. "You never finished the game," he said softly. "Now you will." Laura kept her gun steady. "Where are his parents? They played their parts. The boy is the prize. Checkmate depends on you." Before she could speak, Ramos emerged from the shadows with backup officers. Laura had known she couldn't face Marcus alone, so she set her own trap. Marcus lunged, but within seconds he was tackled to the ground, the knife clattering away. Chris was freed, terrified but unharmed. His parents were later found alive in a cabin outside the city, bound but safe. Back at the precinct, as Marcus sat in custody, he only smiled at Laura. "You see, it was never about them. It was about us, and the game isn't over." Laura stared at him through the glass, the weight of his words sinking in. The Whitmores were safe, but the sense of victory felt hollow. Because she knew Marcus was right. For some games never end.